Good afternoon. Now, this is What the Hell is Alex Doing? Another TED Talk on various stuff. So, just recently I've been working on a new, what I call man bag. It's arguably you can also call it a pilgrim's bag. The bag that we see in the Maciejowski Bible. They're not necessarily pilgrims, they are travellers. And they can actually get quite ratty. They've got hair sticking out of their coifs and their shirts are torn and you can see the hose and stuff like that. Now, this is my old one, and which is quite good. The way that I've made it's a single strap that goes down from the bottom, so that's where I got the tufty bits from. It goes all the way around and down to the other end. Again, tufty bits. And then I've got some tufty bits on the bottom, but I haven't got tufty bits on the corners. But what I do have with this is moth holes. Not very impressed, so I decided to retire it. It's a really good bag. My biggest whinge about it is the leather braided strap that I've got. Woolen strap is very abrasive because it sits across the shoulder. It sits in here, and it's just getting a little bit too annoying. So what I decided to do is lash out and made a new one. So it's got tassels everywhere, and with a softer wool. Now it's a little bit shorter, but the straps, instead of going down the sides, are going down at the back. So it's just sitting there, and some of the illuminations in the Maciejowski Bible do show that the straps are more sitting square on than down the sides. So I thought, I'll try this out and see how it goes. So the big thing that I took away, this is very useful for a reenactor. Where are you going to put things like your wallet and your glasses and keys and your hand sanitizer, and your chappy and your emergency torch, and if you're like me, slowly going blind because you're working on riveted mail, your glasses. So you need to have a bag big enough. But that's what we use our stuff for. But when you think about what the medieval man carried on him, is really quite interesting. I thought it would be worthwhile having a video about it. So the interesting thing is that when you see these people, this is the bag they're carrying. They're not carrying a backpack. They're not carrying what you see later on with the pilgrimage bag, which looks like a larger leather bag. This one, and it's just, well, what are they carrying it? Well, it's a good question, and I don't know because I don't have a time machine. But I am hypothesizing. I don't have a theory because I'm not working on a thesis. First off, money. If you're traveling, there is no ATMs. You've got to carry basically all the money that you possibly need for whatever adventure you're going on to get there and back again, unless it's planned to be a one-way trip. So this little pouch fits, I believe, your more valuable possessions, whether it's your coins or, I don't know, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, your jewelry and your gems and stuff like that. But really, it's going to be silver and coins and maybe gold coins, or fractions of coins. But this sat for the medieval man on his waist, on his brays. Now, his brays are basically a man nappy, as I like to call it. And with it, to hold up your hose, you have basically a garter belt, because that's the epitome of the masculine male in the 12th and 13th century. A baby's bonnet, a short skirt, a baby's nappy, your garter belt with your hose, which are effectively stockings, and slippers. So that was male masculinity. Does it carry very much? No, there's no pockets or anything like that. So anyway, I digress. Your suspender belt, you would have this. Now they're found in the The Salisbury Cathedral. There's a wonderful carving of a guy working away. He's in his brace. It's too hot, so he's taking his shirt off, and you can see this pouch. You can see it's a ring with a little bag here, big enough to get your hand into, and it would, when you're not labouring in the fields and you're wearing a tunic, it's under your tunic, much harder to be stolen. You see like 14th century illuminations of a guy with a knife, cutting a bag that's hanging outside. That's a good way of carrying your really valuable, critical life savings in there. So if you're wondering, do you put money in here? I would say no. That would not be the place where you would do it. Okay, so what else do you carry? So you've got your belt that goes around you. I like to carry a sharpening stone. I've got it leather covered because I found out if you just accidentally drop your belt on a hard surface, they break. So having a leather cover is very handy. No evidence for it. I haven't seen anything. And I've got my knife, a nice simple knife, which is it's a critical thing, that you need a knife. It's not just simply for shanking people and protecting yourself, but it's a wonderful survival tool, and it's, the critical thing for cooking and eating. So since I know that I've got my knife over there, which is critical, I've got my money belt put away, well, what else do I have? Well, I'm glad you asked. So one of the things that I enjoy, because sometimes it's a little bit too hot and you don't need to be have it fully pinned up, I have my brooch that can go in there. The brooch for my tunic is there. You instead of running the risk of it falling off while it's when you're walking around, but it goes in there. I enjoy taking my flint and steel because along with having a knife to actually prepare food and defend yourself and stuff like that, cleaning your nails, maybe even shaving. I don't know of any medieval shaving blades, so I would not be surprised that your medieval knife had to be razor sharp to actually shave, because you don't see too many men with big bushy beards. It's just not there. Flint and steel, really great for starting fires, because if you don't, you generally freeze to death and you can't cook your food. And a lot of food at that time required cooking, either because you need to cook meat to kill, especially if it's pig and poultry and stuff like that. You need it to be cooked, but also general warmth. We know how cool even a European spring or autumn could be. Even gets cool in summer. Nothing like having a nice fire. So I've got my flint and steel put aside in there. Now, what I've also got for the fire starting, I've got a nice little horn with a wooden stopper, and inside I've got charred cloth. Now, I've talked about charred cloth, whether it was actually cloth, where did whether your tunic or dress or met braise finally wore out and you decide to start using that linen for anything else. Maybe you turn it into charred cloth, or you could use any other fibre that you can use. This one's full of bulrushes, but it's dried out and you need to keep it dry. You don't want moisture coming in. That leather one, it's really good to hold it there. It's not water resistant. The horn with the wooden stopper with a little bit of wax around it, it's much more water resistant. Not waterproof, but water resistant. The next thing, a piece of string. A piece of string is just so useful, whether it's to tie something up, to carry something. Always know where your string is. It's a bit like Douglas Adams, always know where your towel is, always have a little piece of string. Very, very useful. People like gambling. People like have some sort of games. I've got 3 little dice, little bone dice in this little bag. Oops. You can't roll a natural 20 with these, but you can play enough drinking games and stuff like that to while away the hours when there is no Netflix. So yes, a nice little bag for my dice. Now, the question is, where are these people traveling? They're not carrying massive amounts of blankets and stuff like that and rigmarole. So how are they traveling? This is, well, arguably they're going from village to village. How far is a village? Maybe 15 kilometres, 9 miles, 10 miles, depending on the size of the village. Can you buy food and shelter and ale and stuff like that? Arguably, yes. You should be able to walk in a day to at least one village. So do you need to take a lot of food? No, you've got enough space and stuff like that. But, if you're feeling adventurous and stuff like that, I reckon I can fit my bowl and my spoon in here. I don't have a fork because we don't use modern forks in medieval reenacting because that's very bad. Do not listen to the blacksmiths who want to try and sell you knife, fork and spoon sets. They just didn't exist. So anyway, that is what I'm carrying. I've got that. There's lots of space so I can have more bread. Maybe I can get some dried meat or cheese or whatever I can, dried fruit from the village for a snack until I get to the next village. I've got that there. And with that, I've got a knife. I've got fire making kit. I've got my spoon and I've got food. And then on top of this, I believe I can now got enough space so I can fit my wallet and my car keys and my lippy, my hand sandy. Thanks COVID, you never go anywhere without your hand sandy now. Your torch for emergencies and your sunglasses and your reading glasses. All fits in there. It's not too heavy, over the shoulder, and yeah, it works very well. Thank you very much. This has been my TED talk about my little pilgrim bag and how awesome it is, and think about what they used to carry and what they used to have. If you've got any other ideas of what type of things they would carry in their bags, I'd love to hear about it. Thank you.